morning. As Professor Kelly has already said, this will be a presentation on Mahara at USP, the e-portfolio system that that some of us are already using. So it's basically some of our experiences starting up with this e-portfolio system. But just before I carry on, I'd just like to tell a short story that sort of gives you an idea of some of the needs that we have. In 2007, when I first was sent over to Vanuatu, to Emala's campus, where I'm currently based, I started living in the lodge, which is right next to the student halls. And one evening after school, one of the students, invited me, and we were talking in his room, and he was so proud of this constitution that he had written for a chief and his people of some island, one of the islands in Vanuatu. He was so proud of this thing. He was showing it to me. I didn't know much about constitutions. I was just looking at it, and he was going on and on about it, saying the grade, telling me the grade. I think it was up in the A or B class, and saying why, why he wanted it to be A class, but because of some maybe English, he didn't get the mark that he wanted. Basically, reflecting on that exercise, that activity. It was an assessed item that he did for law clinic. That was the course that he was doing. We didn't have e-portfolios back then, although we were testing something called Mahara, which is again another New Zealand product. Now, what is an e-portfolio? For those of us who don't know, not too familiar, I like that definition there from Butler, which I paraphrased. He basically described a portfolio, but stuck in digital. It's a digital collection of evidence that is gathered together purposefully to show a person's learning journey over time and to demonstrate their abilities. Here are some processes that happen in an e-portfolio. You collect, students collect, staff can collect artifacts that show your learning, your abilities, reflect on them, write reflections on those. You can organize those into different views, different web pages that you show different people, get feedback, revise these things based on the feedback. You can get assessed by your tutors and lecturers, and you can socialize, network with other students in groups or work collaboratively. The three main components of an e-portfolio, particularly in Mahara, artifact, view, and access. So your artifacts are things that you would be doing, your products of your, say in Joe's case, it would have been his constitution, PowerPoint files that you produce for presentations, PDFs, blogs on the left side here. And then views in the middle there, you can have a student or a staff can have different, any amount of views. It's really up to you. I put in the three views. One view can be for assessment. View number 2, which is available to, I'm not too sure whether you can read the little things in the boxes, but that view number 2 is accessed by tutor, by the tutor. So that's why it's only an assessed item. That's why it's only assessed by 1. It's accessed by 1. It's an assessed item, so it has a block maybe for diary of activities of research that the students doing. The other view number one can be a personal learning planning e-portfolio or web page. These views are essentially web pages that you give access to different people to see. So that's sort of, in a nutshell, what e-portfolios are. Now, people have been practicing rudimentary e-portfolios or different aspects of e-portfolios way before we started the e-portfolio project. And just because I'm in Emalas, I've given an example here of a law course which tried to use diaries where students kept a diary of what they did, weekly diary of what they did on their research projects. And that was for, they had problems of motivation, and with staff, in this case it was Anita Jowitt, wanted to have more reflective practice for the students. That it didn't work because it was in ESOL, a very old system, for two reasons. They didn't provide clear structure, but there was also no space. It wasn't made for that. Currently, they're doing LW305 is doing group portfolios, but it's all in for a complex research project, but it's all in hard copy. And I've often seen Anita with big boxes at the end of these semesters. Hopefully that will be a thing of the past, and people will be able to mark things without loads of artifacts. Just some background. In 2008, May, Sarah Lambert was invited over by, I believe, some PWSP people who had been attending workshops where they had presentations from Sarah Lambert, who's from the University of Wollongong. He did presentations on the portfolios. In 2009, August, a portfolio working group was set up. We did some literature research, basically comparative analysis of different e-portfolios, around 20, to choose the best three. And the best three that we chose were to have a better look at Mahara, and my stuff. My stuff is the one that's used by Open University, and it's basically a Moodle plugin. But after testing, we chose to go with Mahara. Elm was more of a networking system, and my stuff we couldn't even install because it was tweaked so much by Open University that we couldn't even install it in our Moodle here. There's more information on everything that we did there. There's a paper that's coming out. It's going to be done at PCF6 by Deepak, one of the portfolio working group. But more information on how we chose Mahara there, with project definition, updates, and if you want to put in issues as well. This is the e-portfolio project team, the co-opted members, Viren and Ragsni. Pilots. When we set up e-portfolios, we were told that we were going to run it in semester 2, 2010 for UU100. So the plan was to have it have pilot it with LW352, a law course, environmental law course. So we tried to do face-to-face training in Emalas, and we had 6-year-old computers in the teaching lab, and I think some of you have already experienced trying to do training there. Basically, it took almost an hour to access Mahara from there. But one of the good things that came out of it was we designed a template. What you can do in Mahara is for guiding, basically an e-portfolio is student-centered. The difference between LMS, Moodle, It's institution-driven, the LMS, whereas for something like Mahara, it's student-driven. Students can design their e-portfolios any way they like. So it's more personalized sort of learning. But you can give some guidance by setting up a template. The university or the teacher can give some guidance to the student.